following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi, this is Bill O'Brien, and this is The Art of Politics. I'm with my good friend, Representative Ken Gidge from Nashua. And Ken, how are you?
Which I'm a Democrat, very liberal, and proud to be a Democrat, and proud to be a liberal, and you are?
And I'm a Republican, but you know, within the first few minutes, they're going to figure out where we are, Ken.
An extreme conservative,
it's not going to be a mystery.
And by the way, let us make something really clear. I think that's really important, that maybe we don't do this enough. Look, we have a show here. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people would like to comment on it. Some people would like to come in and be guests. You can come in. We'll give you 5 minutes to yell and scream if you wish at us, or how about something nice? But we really want to make it clear that you also, out there listening, like it or not, can contribute. Would you agree?
No, I would agree, and I think it's worthwhile for you to bring that up, because what we're trying to do through The Art of Politics is show that people can disagree, and that's going to be Ken and me. We're not going to agree on much.
That's right.
But we can do it, and we can do it in a civil manner. And you know, at the end of the 30 minutes or an hour, depending on however long the show is, we can shake hands and then go disagree a little bit more off stage.
And I want to, well, while we're on it, is that I'm a little disappointed in the Democrats. I've got in trouble for doing a show with a conservative Republican, Bill O'Brien, who one would say has been extremely conservative and sort of mixes up the water a little. So if you're a Democrat, don't be afraid. You can come on. He's not going to hurt you. And it hurts me to be, sort of put down for doing this show, because we can get plenty of Republicans, but we can't get Democrats to come on.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a mystery for me. I should certainly appreciate the pushback. One of the things I think we realize, having been in a legislative body, is you need the test of opposition to make sure that your ideas are correct.
Boy, is that true.
It's really dangerous that you get into what we call, and I'm sure you've used the term, the echo chamber, where you say, here's policy A, or here's idea A, and all your friends and everybody you're talking to, or you're on Facebook pages or blogs, and you say, well, you're a genius. It's absolutely A is what you ought to do. And you got to get out of that echo chamber and have someone say, that policy sounds like the most foolish thing I've ever heard of, and it ignores this and that. And that's sort of the test you need.
Having been the Speaker of the House of Representatives in New Hampshire, 400 reps, you have seen silliness on both parts with bills coming in.
Well, you do. I mean, some of them just appear to be silly by their very nature. Others take a lot of explaining so you can figure out what people were trying to do and the education that they were trying to give us. But you're absolutely right. It's easy to demagogue. It's easy to make fun of. It's hard to be someone who's trying to play a positive role. That's what we're trying to do through this show, is to say, let's get past the demagoguery. Let's get past the insults a little bit, and let's get to the point where we can find out why we disagree, how how this process best is conducted.
I think more people should do that. And your last show we had, there was some comment that you made, and you got a lot of emails, some threatening you to a degree. And okay, that's fine. But if you want to write those emails, if you don't have the guts to come and sit down here for 5 minutes and talk to us about that, don't do that. Republicans and Democrats, I'm sick of Democrats doing it. I'm sick of Republicans doing it. I'm sick of people writing emails as if they mean nothing. Well, if you've want to write an email or talk to us, come in.
Sure.
We'll make a seat for
I
them.
think it's great. Yeah, absolutely. You know, one of the things
This is both sides. This is not one side.
Yeah, one of the things that I told people that I would do as speaker, and I tried to do as speaker, is anyone, if I had the time, could come into my office. Now, being Speaker of New Hampshire is not like being Speaker of the House of Representatives, you know, where there's 330 million people. You could never have that kind of a policy. As a Speaker of a House in a state that has 1.3 million people, you can say, you know, if I have the time, anybody can walk in.
And it's 400.
And there's 400 reps, but you know,
compared to.
But very few people will waste your time. People who come in, or whether they're legislators or they're constituents.
The majority come in were Republicans, I take it.
Oh yeah, but you know, we'd get a lot of folks that would come in, and I'd say I will sit and I will talk with you. I mean, my only requirement, I used to joke about it, but it was kind of a half joke, is you just can't look like you're going to do violence. You know, if you're going to get really upset and you can't control yourself, well, we're going to have to maybe discuss things by email. But otherwise, and that should be the rule for the show. Come on in and talk to us.
Right, and I've got the interesting part of what he just said simply is that I have been knocked on your door. We have sat down and did in your office basically what we're doing now.
Yeah.
You didn't throw me out, etc., or we didn't get too carried away. But
no. I mean, but obviously, as a legislator, I'd give you an extra, leeway. Obviously, because I'm running a body of which you're a member. But whether it's a lobbyist or sometimes it'd be people even from other states would show up and just sort of to show them how unique we are in New Hampshire. Say, come on in.
Well, as far as we know at this present time, we're taping this show, as far as we know at the present time, the government is still shut down. It may be open by the time this show is out, but let's say it is open, but it went on for 8 days. Why couldn't we talk? Why was it always the Republicans say, look, we have to do something with Obamacare or we're not going to do anything? And the Democrats said, well, Obamacare is the law. In fact, as the government was shut down, we talked about this, Obamacare came into existence. I mean, a coincidence maybe.
Well, yes,
one
of the deadlines. Why? I'll tell you why. Because in the words of Andrew Sullivan, who is one of the Democrats' commentators, this time, according to many Democrats, and I quote him, the elephant must go down. And if possible, it must be so wounded, it does not get up for a long time to come. The Democrat National Party, represented by Barack Obama and Harry Reid, have made a determination that they're being protected by the mainstream media, and they can say to the American people, to the majority of the representatives in Congress that the American people elected, it's our way or the highway. As President Barack Obama says, I don't have to negotiate. Such arrogance.
Negotiate on Obamacare. The answer is no.
He'll negotiate.
It is law.
He'll negotiate with the Iranians. He will negotiate with
How about Putin? All right, there we go.
He will negotiate. He will negotiate with the worst enemies
but
of this
they won't
country.
negotiate with.
He won't negotiate with the person that his spokesperson calls blatant extortionist.
Ladies and gentlemen, they showed this last night. The talking points for the Republicans. 20 Republicans they showed saying the very same thing. That's not original. You guys are
The
you
truth-
guys
the
are
truth ha-
grasping
the truth-
for
the
something.
truth- the
so
truth
so
has
you're
a-
using this.
The truth has a
They will talk with Putin. Let me see.
The truth will have a continuing presence, Ken. You don't have to have
it's-
talking points to point out the truth.
By the way,
truth is always going to be there.
This
It's the
elephant
lies
that
that
you're
shift
talking
around.
about is mythical. So if they want to shoot a mythical elephant or put the elephant down,
why would
which is
this-
the Republican
Why would
Party,
this Democrat commentator talk about wounding the elephant? Why this language of violence?
because
this
that's-
language of
that's-
violence
that
begets
is-
violence.
Look, if he would have said a person's name, okay, we're parties. You
Ken,
want to go
Ken.
on the internet and look what they do to Obama on some of the
And I would never
ultra.
say. I would never say. Let's shoot the donkey. Let's shoot the.
Why
this-
not? You said words.
What have I said worse? I haven't. I've been in my political career. I've been very, very careful not to personally criticize other individuals. I'll criticize their policies. I'll criticize the effect of their policies. But I've been very careful because I've been the subject of the opposite. Not to say to someone that you're a terrorist or you're an extortionist or you're crazy
Wounding an
or you're
elephant is
creepy.
not saying a terrorist or okay. Let's.
No, but Harry
you
Reid,
wouldn't-
Harry
you wouldn't
Reid
say
is
that.
saying that Republicans are insane. That's language that you ask, why can't we resolve this? Because you don't want to
You
talk with someone who
want
thinks you're
to
insane.
talk about a law and changing a law that's coming into the existence the very day you close the government down, and you
First of all,
want to talk about
first
it.
of all,
It's now law.
It wasn't coming into existence.
Why
it had already
don't
been passed
you
in
plug
2009.
something or pull something out of the skeleton of Obamacare? But no, you guys just want to run it over.
There was. See,
Wound the elephant. I'd run the elephant over with a.
this
They
lan-
don't make
this-
steamrollers anymore.
Well,
Why do people say
well,
steamrollers?
they probably make them in China. But
Yeah, no, they
sell them
actually
over
push
here.
them. They,
why this language of violence, Ken? Why can't we have a political discussion nationally or within the state that doesn't involve people being offered violence? And that's, you brought up last time that I made a historical comparison. You thought it was inartful and perhaps
no, I think you're right. But I just said let's say today we can go back to.
Again, I received emails from Utah and San Diego and New Orleans and across the country offering to put me to death, suggesting that will happen. That's the problem with conducting our political discussions this way, is we get marginal characters excited and they end up acting out violently.
Yeah, but
I saw it in the House.
I think we at the very beginning of the show made it very clear that is not acceptable to do that.
But you asked why.
And people who do that are, in my opinion, extremists. Don't do that. As we've said, you got the guts. You come on in. We'll give you 5 minutes. You can tell us what you think of us.
8 different.
Don't send it out and without us being able to communicate with you.
Eight different times during the Reagan presidency, there was a government shutdown because of budget issues. And what would happen, because there wasn't this type of political discourse, is you could get a very liberal Tip O'Neill, good man, but he was, came from East Cambridge, not too far from where my dad was born. Came out of that type of politics. And you had Ronald Reagan, who came out of, kind of Western conservative politics, and they were able to sit down and
After 6.
and resolve it. And we can't do that now. We see, for example, Harry Reid turning over private emails of John Boehner. Tip O'Neill, Ronald Reagan, they would have realized you don't do that. That destroys the conversation. Even if you have a gotcha there, you don't do it, because at that point the person won't talk to you anymore.
You know what it is? Let's just face it. I think we've got to say what it is. And I think that if it was put to a simple vote up or down, I think the government would be open. What has happened, and you must agree with it, that there is a part of the party that is so extreme that if you don't do what they want, and this is the Republican part, maybe some in the Democrat, but the Republican part, they will go out and beat you on on primaries for you to run again. And they have done this. These parties have done that. They're
I'm
so
going
extreme.
to agree with a point that you don't know that you're making, but you are. The point is that we, over time, have produced so many safe districts, whether it's Charlie Rangel's district or, I don't know, John Boehner's district, where people not only can take positions without having to think, what do the people in the middle think about this position? They can take positions that they're compelled to by the left or the right. And
And
so,
get away with it.
well, you know, as
Closing down the government.
as you know,
Boehner with it. Why is it that Boehner cannot? This is not how he feels. He doesn't
how do you
feel
know
that the
how he feels?
government should be shut down. The Republicans have already said that Obamacare is now off the table, and the only thing they want to do right now, the Republicans are saying this, the only thing they want to do now is to get rid of the fines people have if they don't pay
The
for
individual mandate.
insurance. Okay, that's it. So in
Well,
a sense, the Republicans have lost. The elephant is wounded. But having said that, you know, well, I don't want to get too much into that so that's where we are. So I'm sure the government is open. But will you agree that in the Republican Party that there's some really extreme people?
I agree in both parties there's some really extreme people. Charlie Rangel is very extreme. There's Dennis Kucinich, very extreme. Sanders of Vermont, very extreme. He's a socialist. There's extreme people on both sides.
Well, no,
it is
not enough to close the government down.
Is extreme trying to make sure that we can live within our means? You might call that extreme, and many of the people you would identify.
That has nothing to do with
it does.
closing down the government. This has to
Is
do with Obamacare.
Extreme trying to protect people from the abuses of Obamacare. You may call that extreme. I don't. I would be one of those.
Last week it was
between
2 point something billion of lost income to the United States. Guess what?
That's not true.
Maybe it's at 10 billion now.
When
does this stop money wise? You're saying extreme. When is there a point where it hurts?
None of that is true. None of that's true. We're not losing anything. If anything,
you're not losing any money?
No. If anything, this government and this economy would be in much better shape if we just start living within our means. Do you know we've never raised more money by taxation in the past than we have this year? We're getting more money than we ever. We just can't live within our means.
Who are you talking about?
The federal government. The federal government has taken more money out of the economy by taxes than at any time in history, more than in World War II.
How did they get these taxes?
They get them through income tax and all the other taxes they have. And the problem is, and these extreme Republicans that you want me to agree that we should demonize, and I choose not to, all they're saying is, let's live within our means. Let's stop doing that.
I know, but you don't close the government down because it certainly doesn't help Republicans.
Well, then why did Tip
people
O'Neill
look
do
at
it for 8
and
times?
say, well, Tip O'Neill is dead, Reagan is dead, this is alive, we're here, it's today, not yesterday, I got you, and 6 months from now, it may be opposite. It may be completely turned around. You may be coming at me for some reason.
One of the great pleasures out of this, and you don't hear it from the mainstream media, is these debt limit votes come up. How many have there been? It's been like 70 something since World War II. So they come up all the time. Maybe it's in the 50s. I don't know. But Barack Obama had to vote on some, and back in 2007 was it 2008? I think it was 2007. He was quoted as saying that he could never vote to extend the debt limit. A vote would be an indication of the failure of government. Now, we kind of all look at it and say, well, that's yesterday's politics, that's today's politics, Now you're what is this? His spokesperson say you're a blatant extortionist to say the same thing that Barack Obama was saying back in 2007. I get it. Politics. We got to get away from that gotcha though remarks and say what is going on here. What is going on here is $17 trillion in government recognized debt.
And no one,
and it's
since
more than
Obama's been in there, he hasn't taken anything off the national debt?
taking anything
Yeah,
off
anything
of it.
since he's been in office. There hasn't been billions taken off the national debt?
The national debt is it almost $6 to $7 trillion higher than when he took office? So I don't think he's taken.
Well,
I don't think he's taken billions
he
off.
came in, and that's pretty much how the road was.
No,
Yeah, we were pretty
You know
bad.
what- you know
this
what's-
whole economy. It's amazing how
you know what's-
how everybody seems to be working now. A lot of people.
You
a
know
lot
what's
of people out of
amazing
work.
is,
What?
is we used to pass federal budgets. We haven't passed a federal budget now in 4 years. You know, this argument we're having is over
So
continuing
is it the
resolution.
Democrats' problem? Are they the cause of it?
Yeah, because the House has passed budgets and sent them to the Senate, and Harry Reid has refused to bring up those budgets, to vote them up or vote them down. He's refused to bring them up. That's why we have
And
continuing
he is
resolutions.
saying put the bill up or down to open the government, and
That's-
they
it's a
believe,
continuing
and
resolution.
Boehner will not do it.
No, all I'm saying is this, Ken. You're changing the subject. The subject is, why have we not had a budget, a federal budget, under Barack Obama? We haven't had one. These are all continuing resolutions. Can you imagine, you and I have been in the House now a few terms. You know, I think, what am I, in my 4th term now? I think you're in your 4th term.
Yeah,
aren't
I'm
you?
in my
5th?
3rd, but it
Third?
seems like 4th.
Yeah, no, it seems like you've been there like
I
a long
know,
time.
a long
Really.
time. No, I haven't.
Yeah. But you know, you've been there 3 terms, or you will be. I will be there 4 terms. Can you imagine us going through the first half of each term and not passing a budget? We passed 2-year budgets in New Hampshire, not passing a budget. I mean, I can't imagine having been Speaker of the House and not, in the end, presenting a budget to the people of New Hampshire. And yet, over the last 4 or 5 years, since Barack Obama's been president, we haven't had a budget, a federal budget. And it's extraordinary to me. All we've been operating under is, you hear this term, CRs, continuing resolutions. And you know, and
I would like to see the history of everything and the reasons why this hasn't taken place. See, what you're saying is truthful, and Republicans say things that are truthful, but they don't come up with exactly why it's not done.
You want to know what?
You say, tell me why it wasn't done.
Yeah, I know what. I don't know that this is a Republican-Democrat failure. I don't know what. It's a failure of government. It's a failure of Congress. It's something dead.
I absolutely agree
There's
with you.
something wrong to the core there. And
does our system have to change, or does our attitudes have to change?
I don't know. You know, as you know, I thought of running for Congress.
Yes.
And one of the reasons I chose not to is I had a great opportunity, but as I was sitting there and talking over with my family the opportunity, they were bringing up, and I was thinking at the same time of things like, can you be part of a solution to something that's so messed up? You know, 435 members. If one member is sitting there going, "Oh my, you know, can I do about it?" Probably not. And you know, the other thing was in the district, the 2nd congressional district, it's just a swing district. It's just going to go back and forth between Democrats and Republicans, and whoever gets it will probably only hold on to it for a term or 2, and you'll be expected as a junior member of Congress just to do what your party says, and that wouldn't be me. That wouldn't be me.
How, you know, we're coming up. It seems like I was just elected. You were just elected into the House. I've already been asked if I'm going to run again. It hasn't been a year yet.
There you go.
And so now, if I decide to run again, I've got to get somehow some money. It used to be a couple $100. That's all you had to do. $3,000 for a $100 a year job to fight and then you got to take money. You know, that's hard to do. But having said that, my point is that if you were a congressperson, as Annie Custer is, she has to start, as she's elected, to try to get money to run again, and she basically doesn't even have her desk in the corner, or anybody.
That's the other thing I thought of. I mean, you know, when I have been in the legislature here, there is a period of time where you can legislate. You can listen to constituents. You can go out and talk at public meetings and listen at public meetings. You can put in bills and work hard on the language of them and talk. You can be a legislator. And I thought about that, is that, you know, what would it be like to be elected to Congress? The first thing you'd have to think of is, how can I get reelected to this?
Exactly.
Your campaign would begin the day after.
The day after.
And you know,
And in some cases,
I'm not-
during
and so
the campaign.
And so if I was going to be in the Congress, just and this is a thought I had when I was in the legislature, I want to be somebody positive. To have
What does it cost,
positive-
basically, to run for Congress? I guess any
in this
customer would
district, you
go
know,
to-
we were assuming you'd have to raise between $2 and $3 million, and we're assuming that
$2 and $3
we're assuming
million.
Annie Custer, who's very good in raising money, she's probably going to raise between $5 and $6 million.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at Scott Brown ran that special election
Yes,
race
yes.
in Massachusetts. Best back in November, whatever
Yes.
it was. He raised $30 million
To run
Yeah, to run.
for what, 1 year or something?
Oh, I don't know how long
2
it was.
years?
Yeah, 2 years. But you know, and lost to Elizabeth Warren.
And now he's coming up to New Hampshire. What's this all about? We got about probably 4 minutes. What's this all about?
I have no idea. I'm
What
not
is
a
he?
person.
Does he have property up here in New Hampshire?
He has a summer place in Rye. He has family up here. There's a tradition of some people seeking out different locations. You know, Hillary Clinton obviously hadn't been traditionally associated with New York, but she, you know, moved up to New York and ran for U.S. Senate.
That's
there.
not unheard of.
No, Robert Kennedy. Robert Kennedy
that's
did it
unheard of.
in
Oh, yeah,
1964.
yeah.
Was it? That was
Yeah.
when he was elected. And so I guess it happens. Ken.
So I can't see it. So politically up here in New Hampshire, Jean Shaheen is running, and she already has somebody running against her.
Jim Rubin. Has announced.
Has announced that he will be running against her.
Right. Well, he's announced. He hasn't been nominated.
Okay. So we could get him in.
And there's some indication, some consideration of Charlie Bass, who was the second congressional district congressman for a total of, I think, 5 terms. You know, so he's been elected in half the state, at least one time or another.
Also, we will be having Skype. As soon as we can get connect up to Skype, we will have Skype, and that means we can sit here and we will see the people over there, and they'll be able to see us. So we can talk to people in Washington and around the country.
Good. Yeah, very nice.
Oh.
Very nice. Well, good.
I think we're all done.
Yeah, it's been another great episode, and appreciate it, Ken.
Well, we calmed down a little. So you want to...
Okay, I'll give you my information. Again, Bill O'Brien, and representative from Mount Vernon, and you can reach me on my cell phone. That's 603-620-8710, or email, which is williamlobrien@gmail.com. I got to tell you, I don't hear enough from constituents. Yeah, if there's something going on in Concord, you think I ought to know, think you have an opinion on it, tell me. Thanks.
You're on Facebook also.
And I'm on Facebook.
Well, I'm on Facebook. My name is Ken Gidge. I'm here in Nashua of Ward 6, a small ward with 3 people in it. I'm just one of them. You can get me on Gidge World, which is an art webpage, please. I'm also, as I said, on Facebook. You can get me at kgidge@aol.com. My telephone number is 603-864-9332. And remember, don't email us bad things. You can come in and you can talk to us about it.
Thanks, Ken.
Okay.
Thank you.